Hey guys, Professor Perazzo here with another webisode, YouTube-isode, whatever episode you want to call it, of Driving It Home with the Professor. It's Sunday night. We're just putting in some hours in the office, getting some work done. But I received a question on Facebook last night, and it's a perfect question to answer here on Driving It Home. And it's in regards to, or shouldn't be, the question was posted by a friend of mine. He's a purple belt at Balance Studios. His name is Lex Fridman, accomplished competitor, judo guy, studies, smart, going for a PhD, doesn't get out much. I think he has trouble meeting girls, but I digress. Anyway, his question to me was kind of related to a conversation that he and I had a while back when he came out to NJMA for a team competition training we were having in preparation for the New York Open. The New York Open happened a couple months ago, and we had, I think we took 4 competitors to it, and I was explaining to him how I view competition and how we train for competition and so forth and so on. So to really put it kind of mildly, not mildly, but to put it succinctly, the way we prepare for competition is we view the entire student base at a certain level. So anybody that's out of kind of our fundamentals phase is part of the competition team. Now mind you, that doesn't mean that they're forced to compete, but what it does mean is that they're forced to help their training partners who are competing. Right? So, and when I say forced, all these guys are doing it willingly, but they understand that the culture and the code at the school is that we can only win as a team, right? Just one guy can't do it alone, or 4 guys that are doing the New York Open can't just continually train with each other and get good training and good preparation for the New York Open. So everybody has a duty to the goal of the competitor to kind of train hard, come in often, do the drills, push the pace, so forth and so on. So that's not to say that the school is a competitor-driven school, because it's not. But what happens is when we get ready for competitions as a school, it allows me to put a goal and a date together, right? Because you can't have goals without a date. So it's really nice when we say, okay, we have this tournament at this date, then I can kind of say, all right, well, 8 to 10 weeks out, we will prepare. We will go through a training camp for this tournament. And that really makes everybody better. Now, when we get into training camp mode, it's a lot different than when we're in kind of regular skills acquisition mode. When we're in training camp mode, the whole training camp is designed and revolves around making the guys better at competitive jiu-jitsu, submission grappling, kickboxing, whatever the tournament happens or the fight happens to be, MMA. So everyone's working towards that singular goal. Even though the vast majority of the students won't be competing, they understand that they will be getting better during this time. But what we do during that time of kind of the tournament prep or the fight prep or the MMA prep is that we start peeling away new techniques. We introduce less and less new, and what we're doing is increasing their effectiveness of what they know and what they're good at, and start seeing where their holes may be, and start instituting strategy sessions and things like that. So if you were to pop into my school during one of these sessions of tournament prep or fight prep or kickboxing prep, whatever it happens to be, you'll see, wow, it seems pretty basic, or they're not learning new techniques. And that's correct, because when you're preparing for competition, it's not, in competition, it's not the guy that knows the most. It's the guy that can do it the best, the quickest, the fastest, and the hardest. And in most competitions, that's going to win. The guy that's conditioned, that can really get to his move, his position, his grip, his stance, his punches, his kicks first. So, in kind of a short kind of blurb, that's how we do it when we're getting ready for competition. And what I do as a coach is that it's impossible for me, with the responsibilities that I have as a dad of 2 kids, as a father, I have a 78-year-old mom that's wonderful, but she needs my help as well. Owner of a business, have a business partner in my second school. I can't go to every single tournament. And my guys know that. So what we do is we look at the calendar. And when we look at the calendar, we say, okay, well, hey, what tournament do you guys want to do? What are we looking at? Blah, blah, blah. And we kind of, I kind of decide, all right, I'm going to zone in on X tournament. So the last tournament we zoned in on was the New York Open. The next tournament we're zoning in on are the No-Gi Pan Ams in New York City. Now, the guys are more than welcome to do tournaments in between those two. And do I show up to them? If I can, if my wife's off from work or if my schedule allows. And typically it really falls back to me getting coverage with my kids. I have a 4-year-old and a 6-month-old now. So I will try to make the tournaments in between, but my promise is to make the ones that I say I'll go to, and preparing the school for that. So now everybody benefits from this hard training. Everybody benefits from working hard. Everybody benefits from the successes, but also everybody benefits from the competition losses, because then we go back and we revisit the strategy sessions for everybody, and we congratulate everybody that did well, and we make fun in a good way of the guys that lost, just because, hey, whatever, short memory. You know what? The wins are short memories, and the losses are short memories. One of my favorite moments at the last New York Open was Jason Zitzler really made a big breakthrough in his purple belt division. I believe he had 2 or 3 matches submitting, taking down all of his opponents and submitting them. Gets his picture taken on the podium, and he's taking his medal off as he's jumping off the podium. And I go, dude, what are you doing? He goes, man, this is old news. So he was already looking towards the next goal. He had reached his goal and he had moved on. And I thought that was great, that he wasn't one of those guys walking around pumping his chest, where he could have been. He had every right to be proud of that accomplishment of winning gold at the New York Open. So, that's what we do when we're preparing for tournaments. Now, when we're not preparing for tournaments, the structure and the texture of the classes are much, much different. The structure and the texture is all about skill acquisition, learning new moves, right? But it's not learning new moves that it's like, oh, okay, today we're going to work on guard passing, tomorrow we're going to work on mount. Everything works off of a theme. And a greater theme is, all right, for the next 12 weeks, we're working on, and I'll give you an example of, say, passing the guard, right? So then we're talking about all the different guard passes. How do we get into our guard passes? How do we set them up? What do we do when our guard passes fail? How do we react if we halfway get swept? How do we get back to our guard passes from positions that we're not good at? How do we get to our power guard passes? All that other stuff. So at that time, there's going to be less conditioning, there's going to be less active drilling, there's going to be less live training in class, but there's going to be more details, more time spent on learning the intricacies of what these techniques are. And the reason why I look at it from a thematic standpoint is that I always want to approach the school as if I'm training one person. So I'm training this one person at the school to get better at this one area. So I know at the end of this 8, 10, 12 weeks that all of my students will at least have gotten much better in this one area. Now, do I want them to not improve in other areas? No. That's on them to work on that during their open mat time, their own drilling time, their own live training time. So there's the real difference between when we're kind of in competition season and we're out of competition season. Now, the other thing I want to make sure of is that, we have this mindset at the school is, am I my brother's keeper? And yes, I am. Not only are we supposed to support the competitors when they're competing, right? But what about the guy that doesn't care about competing and he wants to lose weight? Or what about the guy that's really, his goal is to become a black belt? What are we doing for him? Well, that's when the community comes together and really helps those other guys through the training, through the support, through the friendship. Because, it doesn't matter to me what your goals are as an instructor and as a coach. I could care less if you want to be a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion, UFC champion, if you just want to lose weight, or if you're at my school simply to make friends, okay? But once you set a goal, we want to put a time to it, and I want to support you, and my students, we all want to support each other to the best and to the max of our ability. So that's really my mindset on how I structure and run my school. So we have in season and out of season, and that's just really you know, when we're talking about in season, out of season, it's how I approach my school, not how my students approach my school. Because if they want to compete in between and, you know, off season and all that other stuff, they're more than welcome to. I may or may not be at those tournaments. I may or may not be at those fights, just depending if I have enough time. Typically at the MMA and the kickboxing fights, I try to make it because, you know, guys are getting punched and kicked in the face. There's a lot at stake. There's a lot at stake there. So if any of you guys are interested in kind of seeing, hey, what is he talking about? Like that sounds really interesting. I want to go and check it out. Anybody that hears these videos or sees these videos is always more than welcome to come check out my school. I have an open door policy. I have a Sunday no BS, no politics open mat where anybody's welcome to come to my school in Maple Shade. We're located at 2 North Fork Landing Road in Maple Shade. So if I've piqued your interest, feel free. Check our website out at NJMA online. You can give us a call at 856-482-9555. Hit me up with more questions on either Facebook, Twitter, or on YouTube. It's Professor Perazzo on YouTube, Team NJMA on Twitter, and on Facebook it's Marco Perazzo. Hey guys, I hope this was interesting. A little bit of a longer one, but hopefully the passion comes across on how much I really love my school and how much I love helping people reach their goals. All right guys, enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. You'll probably be getting this on Monday or Tuesday anyway, but enjoy the rest of your night. Take care.